as long as I can remember, there's been frogging in the basin. My dad, my grandfather, my great-grandfather. That's as far back as I've heard stories already, you know. I'm sure some of my great-grandfathers used to do it too. That was just an easy way when there was no hunting seasons going on to put meat in the freezer. You know, if the fishing isn't good but the water's still at a low depth, you can catch a bunch of frogs. What we're looking for is the silver, the little glowing marble color in the reflection of our Q-beams. You can spear them, you can catch them. Some people net them. They have little nets that they made for it. It's kind of cute, looks pretty, I don't know. But I like to use my hand. I grab them with my hand, throw them in the box. They keep for 2 or 3 days in the box. You don't have to clean them right away. If you can go 3 or 4 times and make yourself a little mess, you know. A lot of people make coupillons with the body parts of them. The front legs, that's what they call it. The front legs and the back legs. When somebody's cooking the back legs of a frog, more than likely they're frying them or grilling them. Some people even barbecue them. That tastes really good. Now, you know, some of these frogs can get up to lengths of 27 inches. Half the fun to frogging is actually coming out here with all your friends. You know, you don't really have to catch. It's fun when you do catch. Christian had called me probably a week before we had started hunting. And he said, I heard a whole bunch of frogs in the back. He said, guys, y'all gotta come with me. This is gonna be a fun night. Now, a lot of times you're gonna be out there, you're gonna see multiple types of frog. The one that we're going after, of course, is the American bullfrog, the biggest one. Actually, the bullfrog, you could hear it up to a quarter mile away. Wildlife and Fishery does put a restriction on it, and the frog has to be at least 5 inches long. That's gonna ensure a good population for later in the year. Just keep in mind, especially after y'all see this, I know there's gonna be a couple people that's gonna wanna go frogging out there. Best time to catch frogs is when that water's on the fall, because they're coming out the woods, they're coming into the main canals. Where we were, there was a couple of crawfish ponds around us. We were in a main canal, and as they would drain the crawfish ponds, of course the frogs are all gonna come to the deeper water at the edges, and that's where we can get to them. Oh, he's too small. Throw him back. There's my frog taking a ride. The wildlife at night, if you've never been in the swamp at night, I highly recommend it.
Get out there, check out the swamp. You can see so much more wildlife. Make sure you're looking where you're going. I mean, we only frogged for a few hours, but we had a good little mess. Too bad we all had to work the next morning. We'd have stayed a lot longer. Best place to grab a frog when you're catching them is right around the neck. Well, you've seen it in the show. Anytime we hit the water, especially in the swamp, we use the Gator Tail outboard. We kept throwing stuff at these motors left and right. They kept chewing stuff up and spitting it out. It's a short version of a long tail. It's the first design of its kind. So if you want to go out in the field and you want something that's tough and reliable, you get a Gator Tail outboard. This product really does take us places we never thought possible. It's good to have multiple people in the boat. Bring people with you. Get as many lights in the boat as possible. You don't miss stuff. I'm frogging with my boys, so I really don't care if we're catching right now. I might look in one direction and somebody's looking behind me, and they're gonna see the frog that I didn't see. Then they get to catch the frog, of course. And I can't stress enough, Swamp Journals and the Team Voodoo Pro staff, we're all about the products that we have out here. The Gator Tail worked amazing. I mean, we could not bog that down. You can see there's 3 people in the boat, pull up, the reverse is awesome on it, and especially when you get into them tight places and you gotta turn the boat around. It's got a nice idle speed to it. at the end of the night. We probably got about 50 frogs. We've only been frogging for about 2 hours. We're not out here to slaughter them by any means. We just came out here to put a few in the old basket so we can take back home. Camo worked great. We got really close to the majority of the frogs before the waves hit them and they jumped off. That's part of frogging though. You're gonna catch some, you're gonna miss some, but the best part of frogging is when you take them back to an award-winning chef like Cote Patin and he cooks them up and shows you different recipes. Y'all stay with us, that's gonna be the next thing that we have. I originated my swamp tours because I'm a gator trapper in the Atchafalaya. I'd go out every day and search for the alligators. My friends and family caught on to that, and they started offering me a couple dollars to take them into the basin. I started getting airboats, and the business grew. I also learned a lot of history about my swamp. If you or anyone you know wants to take a Mike Swamp Tour, MikeSwampTours.com. Call me, book a tour. I'll take you, show you the beauty of the Atchafalaya Basin. Welcome back, guys. We're here with Chef Cote Patin. We're getting ready to cook up some frogs. It was a long night for everybody. I believe we had 55 frogs that night. It's very simple, very easy. I think y'all are gonna love this.
Start with some fresh ingredients such as really nice fresh frog legs. We're gonna make a frog leg sauce piquant. All right, so we're gonna take our frog legs, we're gonna go ahead and drop them in some flour, regular all-purpose flour, and we're gonna sprinkle that with a little bit of our voodoo seasoning. All right, so I'm coating it with flour. I'm gonna take a little bit of our duck fat, all right, and we're gonna go ahead and start to melt that duck fat. And we're gonna start searing off these frog legs. All right, so that excess flour is gonna give me a nice crust on the frog legs, and that flour is gonna help make me a nice dark roux. Roux is fat and flour. Any type of fat and flour cooked down. The longer you cook it, the darker it becomes, the more concentrated flavor. So we'll brown those off. I have a little bit of sauce piquant made already. Normally, if you're making it from scratch, you'll take it, you'll just put them on a plate, save it for later. The longer you cook the frogs, the more delicate, the more it's going to fall apart. So we want to let our frog legs cook just the right enough time to make them nice and tender and not fall apart off the bone. So I'm going to go ahead and slide these in. Our sauce that we had already made. Alright, so now we have our pot, and we're going to add our onion, bell pepper, celery. Alright, it's our basic holy trinity. We're going to add our jalapeno pepper and a little bit of tomato paste. A little tomato paste and a little bit of, add a little bit more dark roux. If your flour and fat doesn't make enough roux, just use a little bit more dark roux and you'll be good to go. And a little garlic. We're going to add a little bit more of our voodoo spice. We're going to add a couple bay leaves for flavor and a little bit of thyme.
Smells amazing.
A little bit of beer.
Make me hungry. Make me thirsty.
Beer. And we'll just let this simmer. You want to let this cook down and simmer for about 30 minutes before you put your frogs back in. Once you put your frogs back in, 10 minutes later, you're good to go. While this is simmering, we have right here some corn makshu, fresh corn, shucked. I actually took the corn, roasted in the oven, get it nice and brown, shucked the corn, and made a nice little hash. Little andouille sausage, onion, bell pepper, celery, little bay leaf, little thyme, little chicken stock, and I threw those cobs right back in and let it simmer for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes, adding a little bit more stock as needed until that corn is nice and tender. And so it's going to be a good side dish to go with these frog legs. And then we're going to take the frog legs that have been simmering, put them over some freshly cooked rice. Depending on how many legs you want per person, I normally do about 4. A big eater, maybe 6. And then we're going to garnish this with a little bit of green onion. Alright. And on the side, a little bit of this corn hash. Well, it's corn pop shoot. So we have frog leg sauce pecan, so spicy, a little nutty from that brie. Really flavorful.
I hope everybody enjoyed watching Colt cook this up. Very good cooking ideas as well. Colt, thank you so much for being here. We look forward to seeing you next time. Let's go to the next segment. Well, you've seen it in the show. Anytime we hit the water, especially in the swamp, we use the Gator Tail outboard. We kept throwing stuff at these motors left and right. They kept chewing stuff up and spitting it out. It's a short version of a long tail. It's the first design of its kind. So if you want to go out in the field and you want something that's tough and reliable, you get a Gator Tail outboard. This product really does take us places we never thought possible. Different times of the year, you're gonna have different fish bites. There's 2 or 3 months in the springtime when the brim are biting like crazy. There's 3 or 4 months if the water conditions are right where the sacalait or the crappie, where they're biting, I mean, it's every cast. Different parts of the Atchafalaya are hotter at different times of the year. But right now this cricket's not working. I'm getting ready to fire him. I like coming out here catching fish. I just like to come catch fish. If I needed to catch 1 or 2 fish, just for me to have a supper for myself, I'll do that. I'll come catch my 2 or 3 fish. But when I want to come fishing and I want to just come catch fish, I want to come catch brim. You come out here with crickets and worms. It's easy, it's enjoyable, it's fun. You're trying to bring a kid into the sport. You bring them out here. Excuse me, sir. I'm trying to have an interview here. As long as they're catching fish, reeling them in, throwing it out there, they get excited. That's when they start asking you to come back. Almost any other kind of fish, it's tough unless that fish is really hot that day, Like sacalait. Once you start fishing and you understand what you have to do to get the fish to bite, it's easy to go out there and spend a couple hours and try to catch sacalait. A lot of them's gonna have problems. It's gonna look like they're all red or the scales are pulled up, and that's from them rubbing and fanning their beds. You gotta keep them oxidized. They start getting all their colors. They have the browns and the red, the little red neck right there.
You noticed how on this fish right here, how he's got the browns and reds and oranges. That is the males. The females will stay mostly white. They're gonna be kind of plain colored. The males get on the beds and they'll protect the nest while the females move off after they've laid their eggs to rest. That's why on brim beds, all you ever catch is the males, because they're the ones protecting the nest.
Best way to hook a cricket, you go in from the back and you go back through the front. A lot of times if you put it on the opposite way, the fish will actually suck the back half off, which is the goo, the insides, that's where the smell comes from. The brim is a smaller fish, and there are a lot bigger fish in the lake. There's the largemouth bass, Kentucky red eye, there's some garfish around here. Even if a brim is small enough, a sacalait, a crappie, will actually go after them as well. So when they come out to feed, they go in there, they hurry up, they take the bait, and then they leave. Because they're going back into cover as well. That's a female. And that is a male. There you go, look. I just do it. It helps me. And when you go duck hunting, you try to shoot the drakes. When you come fishing, if you know it's the female, you put them back. I try to put them back. I know I'm gonna have kids that will come fishing one day.
Kiss him, throw him at your port.
Well, you've seen it in the show. Anytime we hit the water, especially in the swamp, we use the Gator Tail outboard. We kept throwing stuff at these motors left and right. They kept chewing stuff up and spitting it out. It's a short version of a long tail. It's the first design of its kind. So if you want to go out in the field and you want something that's tough and reliable, you get a Gator Tail outboard. This product really does take us places we never thought possible. Hey guys, you just seen that awesome segment. You come to the basin, you gotta catch brim and sacalait. It's one of the easiest things to go out there and catch. Coke patin, getting ready to show us the one thing that everybody knows how to do, but we're gonna show you again.
And this is actually one of the best ways. You got your brim, a little seasoned with a little Cajun seasoning or our voodoo spice, a little bit of mustard, going dredged into some corn flour, cornmeal mixture. You got a special formula so that you have a nice, smooth crunch on the outside coating. So we're dropping in some vegetable oil, frying it nice and crispy. All right. I have your little lanyap. We have some jalapeno cornbread and green beans. So that's gonna go right on top. We have our nice brim and sacalait. Perfect. Fried crispy. You can't get any better with crawfish etouffee right on top.
Oh, that finishes it off right there.
A little bit more. And then we're gonna garnish with a little bit of green onion. So if you want the recipe for the green beans, the cornbread, or the etouffee, you're gonna have to visit our website. Website is
TeamVoodoo.tv. Go subscribe. Follow everything we do.
and enjoy.